Dana Perino along with Morgan Ortagus, Juan William, Jesse Waters, and Greg Gutfeld. It's 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. Fox News Alert. President Trump campaigning in key Senate battleground states. He's finishing up a rally right now in West Virginia before heading to Indiana later tonight. Just minutes ago, the president going after Democrats hard ahead of the high-stakes midterms just 4 days away.
The Democrats want to raise your taxes, restore job-killing regulations, shut down your coal mines. And by the way, they will shut down your coal mines. You know that. They want to take away your good health care and essentially use socialism to turn America into Venezuela.
Trump also touting the booming economy after finding out today 250,000 jobs were added in October.
America now has the best economy in the history of our country, and we want to keep it that way. We've created 4.5 million new jobs since the election, a number that was unthinkable. If I would have said that during the campaign, oh, they would have given me a hard time. They would have said, Pinocchio, you know, they do the whole thing.
The president also hitting on a central theme of his midterm campaign, the migrant caravan that's headed towards the United States.
Democrats want to totally open the borders. They have the caravans. Let them in. Do you want to let them in? Does anybody want to let them in? But caravan after caravan is forming unvetted illegal aliens trying to flood into our country on your dollar, overwhelming your schools, depleting your resources, and endangering your community.
All right, there we go. There was another former president on the campaign trail today. Let's play that from President Obama, and then we'll take it around the table.
While you're distracted with all this stuff they're making up, they're also robbing you blind. They'll be like, look over there. And then they're giving tax cuts to billionaires. Look over there. Then they're letting polluters poison your air and water. They will absolutely take health care away from millions the first chance they get while you are distracted with stuff that is not true.
All right, Jesse, let me hand it over to you. Both former President Obama and President Trump kind of having fun on the campaign trail.
Yeah, President Obama looked pretty spry right there when he was bouncing around. He's got a little pep in his step. I do think he's really lowered himself to a place where he shouldn't be as someone that's just left office. I don't think there's ever been a president this early to campaign so partisanly against his successor in that way. But you know what? He's trying to salvage his legacy because Donald Trump has totally destroyed it. The president got some great news today on the economy. 250,000 jobs created in October despite the hurricane. And when some other bright spots, 3.1% wage growth. That is the best wage growth for American workers in a decade. Also, nearly 70,000 jobs created in construction and mining and manufacturing. Remember, those jobs were never coming back, according to Barack Obama. Lowest unemployment level since 1969. Most Americans with a job in American history. And the media has really downplayed this economy. When there was the 3.5% GDP number that just came out the other day, the nightly newscasts, they never even covered it. And then today, Axios said, well, you know, the economy is shrinking. It went from 4.2 to 3.5. And they say, you know what, and a recession may be around the corner. I do think the president is closing strong on the message of the economy and on immigration. And this blue wave that everybody says is going to happen, I'm not quite so sure about it right now.
Maybe just like a little ripple.
Maybe.
Greg, the other economic number was the lowest unemployment rate for veterans.
That's great.
That they've had in a long time.
The economy is hotter than Jesse and cutoffs. But it's kind of.
You saw me?
Yes, I did. I have a camera in your dressing room.
Oh, God.
Here's the deal. Like, no one, the media isn't covering this news because it's not something that you could blame on Trump. It's something you have to give credit for. So they'd rather just, you know, do their usual anti-Trump lather, which also happens to gin up their revenues quite well, as Jeff Zucker has admitted recently. Either way, the way I look at the midterms, and I pray that they're over soon, the Republicans win and the Democrats lose, no matter what. No matter what. And I'll tell you why. Because politics isn't personal. to Republicans. So if you do well, great, but I'm going to go have dinner. But if you lose the House, well, that sucks, but I'm going to go have dinner. But now if the Democrats, let's say the Democrats win big, that's not going to be enough because he's still going to be in charge. That evil Trump is still going to be there, so they're still going to be really angry. And if they lose, we saw what happened when they lost before, right? It was a countrywide tantrum.
We should have had the scream.
Yes, the scream. So the thing is, because it's so intensely personal for Democrats, primarily liberals, with politics, I don't think they're ever going to be pleased by the outcome, where the Republicans... Politics is just a facet in your life. It's one part of it. It's not your life. So, you know, you lose the House, you know, well, that's life. I'm going to go play with my kids.
How do you think?
I don't have kids. And I won't play with yours.
I'll just throw it over to you for whatever you want to say.
Oh, well, I just am amazed. It's the best economy ever, says Trump. And Jesse backed it up, of course, just not true. And then you say it's not true, and people are like, well, why are you picking on the president?
Well,
stop picking
better
on him.
than the Obama economy,
There we
I'll
go.
tell you
There
that
we go.
much.
But, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And then, you know, the whole idea that this invading army is coming, oh, my gosh, do you want to let them in? You know, it's just ridiculous. But, you know, to me, it's at the point where in this campaign, you look at where the president's going, you look at what he's saying. So today, West Virginia, also Indiana. He's going into red states and he's trying his best. I don't think he's going to have any success with stopping Joe Manchin from getting reelected. But when it comes to Joe Donnelly, the Democrat in a red state like Indiana, I think he may have some success because he can stir up the base. And that's all he's doing. So the whole attack on the caravan, everything that he says about the caravan being filled with disease and criminal, you know, it's just, at some point you want to think, are these Republicans paying attention? Does it make any difference?
Didn't Obama just say we were poisoning the? Didn't Obama just say we were poisoning the air and water?
Yeah,
but that's true.
That's true.
Let's get Morgan in here. Your thoughts about, you know, we have a week. We're going into a weekend. It is also when you have to turn back the clocks.
Oh,
By the way, yeah.
Who has a clock?
I didn't know.
Apparently, I think though that is probably good news for Republicans, right? No, I'm kidding. I have no idea.
Tell me more, Dana.
Trends tell us in the past. Your
Well,
thoughts?
listen, I think it all comes down to undecided voters, which are largely independents, largely moderates. And something that I thought was interesting in this, before the mail bomber happened and before the Temple shooting happened, most of those independent voters were registering saying that they felt unsure about putting the Democrats back in power because the message did work that they thought they were too extreme. Clearly, the events, you know, sort of stopped the momentum that they had, but they still sort of seem like, will I vote? Will I not vote? What will happen? And we all know in all of these elections, it depends on who can motivate people to turn out. So what I'm fascinated by, I started going through, you know, state by state. We're all looking at the polling. I think it's going to be a really long election night. I'm looking forward to watching you, Dana, because as the wind
Juan will be there too.
And Juan too.
I won't.
You can come to my party.
Oh, great.
As the wind blows, these races, like they're a point apart, right? Or they're 2 points apart within the margin of error. We could see the Senate looking exactly like it is. We could see the House looking similarly, or we could see, you know, we could see something go straight up or down for either party. I mean, it's going to be a fascinating evening. And the one thing that I would say is to pay attention not just to the House and to the Senate, but these governors' races. 12 out of 13 Republican governors that are running for re-election are ahead, but about 7 to 9 of them that are running in open seats. It's neck and neck. Talk about Georgia, talk about Florida. I mean, these are the races where it could go into runoffs. We could be up all night.
I just want to pick up on something that Morgan just said. She's right. There's a lot of House races right now that a lot of prognosticators think, oh, you know what, Democrats are going to get them all. They're all within the margin of error.
Right.
So there's no guarantee that this blue wave is going to happen. You could see a situation where Democrats pick up 20 seats in the House and come up a few seats short. There's no massive Democratic Party registration going on. There's no massive enthusiasm gap going on. There's no recession going on. There's just not a lot of indicators. Look at the generic congressional ballot. That's within single digits. The Democrats are down in the Connecticut governor's race.
For good reason.
I mean, there's just a lot of things that you scratch your head and you think, wait a second, the media was so wrong in 2016. Could this be a flashback of what happened last time? There could be a silent majority out there that aren't talking to pollsters that could come out and then really shock the country again.
I think you go look at the ads, just so important right now. And the ads both on the Republican and
we have a
Democratic
chart. Can I just show that chart? I know we got to go for. But
Dana loves her charts.
It's a great chart, and I sent it to everyone this morning so that they could take a look at
at 7 in the morning, you get like 8 charts from Dana. Oh, great! Just what I want to look at when I wake up in the morning. Stuff like this. Why don't you send me pictures of your dog instead?
Well, that can be arranged, of course. But this chart, if you go to Bloomberg, it tells you what ads were running in which regions of the country. So I thought that was actually very good.
Yeah, so the reason
Didn't you think it was interesting?
I didn't look at it either.
You didn't even click on it?
I opened it and then I closed it.
Who sends charts before 9 a.m.?
Dana,
Well, look, somebody has to get up early to work on the 2 o'clock show.
Dana,
And it was 10:30. Thank you.
yeah, Dana, I must say I valued it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. But I just wanted to, my point that I was going to make, based on Dana's chart, by the way, would be that healthcare dominates on both sides, not this immigration drivel and not the phony ad that makes it out like Democrats want open borders. Again, it's like, are Republican suckers? What is going on?
What is
Can
going
you show
on?
that chart one more time?
Show the chart one more time.
You know what that is?
What?
It would be a great. Oh, they're not showing
Okay,
it.
we're going to show the chart one more time. Can we pull it back up?
No, you know what? It's not even worth it.
There you go.
It's not even. Forget it.
No,
I was going to
come
say
on
it's a
now,
great
gotta see.
placemat for a diner.
Oh, it's fantastic because you
Yes.
can figure out like where you are.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, Bill Hemmer would appreciate that chart. A programming note. Be sure to tune in on Sunday. We'll be previewing the midterms on a special live weekend edition of The Five. I'm sure you won't want to miss that. Greg will be in a great mood. Okay, up next, vulnerable red state Senate Democrats distancing themselves from their own party in an attempt to win on Tuesday. That's ahead.
When it's still burning, just when I think moving on's getting closer.
Red state Democrats in tough Senate races now distancing themselves from their party in an effort to try to pull out victories on Tuesday. In Missouri, Claire McCaskill releasing an ad slamming her fellow Democrats.
And Claire's not afraid to stand up against her own party.
Yep, and Claire's not one of those crazy Democrats. She works right in the middle and finds compromise.
In Montana, John Tester, he's blasting Democrats for, quote, botching the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation hearings. And in Indiana, Joe Donnelly backing increased border security.
I'm the only person on this stage who voted 3 times for a border wall. I voted against sanctuary cities.
So, Greg, guess what? Even in Montana, John Tester, I should say, taking a swipe at Elizabeth Warren's DNA test.
That is unbelievable. Look, it's always good to police your side. And I think everybody should be faster in excommunicating their extremists. The problem with our side, being a challenge as a conservative, is if we listen to the mainstream media, we're all bad. Yeah. So we're always we're all suspect when somebody says this person's bad. We're like, really? Because we saw what you did to Kavanaugh, and he wasn't a bad guy. But I do think it's always important for if you're to point out and say this person's gone too far or whatnot. And I say that for both sides.
I agree. Morgan, I noticed that Bill Clinton, not too many places. He apparently had a fundraiser here in New York for Mike Espy, the Democratic Senate candidate in Mississippi. But it's interesting. It's almost like the former president hasn't existed in this campaign season.
The mighty have fallen. I mean, if you think back to President Obama's re-election campaign in 2012 and the DNC convention, when Clinton went on stage and gave that speech that many pundits at the time were saying was the speech that revived President Obama's re-election effort. And then here we are, fast forward, not that long later, and people don't want to be seen with them. And quite frankly, I think for good reason. I mean, at a minimum, the guy abused his power with a college intern, and at the worst, he's been accused of some of the worst things that men can be accused of. So I wouldn't want to be seen with him, and I don't blame the Democrats. But on Claire McCaskill, though, the one thing that was interesting to me there is, you know, for all of the mantra of the Democrats about girl power, she was really quick to throw Elizabeth Warren, like, right under the bus.
Well, I think she feels that Elizabeth Warren was critical of her on some votes, and so that's what she said. So, Jesse, what we see here is right now it's 51-49 Republicans in the Senate. And you have Heidi Heitkamp trailing in North Dakota, close races in Indiana, Missouri, and then comes 2 interesting states, Arizona and Nevada. No Trump in either state, even though you would think immigration, which is his key message, might play there. Apparently, both Republican candidates want no part of Donald Trump.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but you're right. Those races are dead even, and they could go either way. And they're very interesting to Western states that are a lot different than a lot of the other states in the country. But on the Bill Clinton thing, I think there's 3 reasons for that. One, the Democratic Party has given up looking for white working class voters. Bill Clinton was always great at speaking to those people. They don't really speak to those people as much as they used to. They've reprioritized to more identity politics. And millennials, I mean, they were born in the 90s. They barely remember Bill Clinton. And then you have the Me Too thing. If you bring him in, you might catch too much heat. On the distancing, I think the distancing is disingenuous because the Democratic Party has been crazy for 2 years. And all of a sudden, a week before the election, now they're going to get the stomach to say, hey, guys, knock it off. I just don't buy it. And it kind of shows me right now the Republican Party is more unified than the Democratic Party. Looks like the Democrats are shooting within the 10 a little bit. I don't know how that's going to play out, but it's an interesting indicator, especially in these red swing states.
Wow, this is a kinder, gentler Jesse Waters. The Democrats have only been crazy for 2 years, you're now saying.
Well, crazier, I would say.
There you go. Now you're back to normal.
That's right.
Dana?
Well, I think she can. Let's just take them one by one. Claire McCaskill, 12 years of a very liberal voting record, and she's trying to say that like she's not crazy and that she's helpful with Trump. I don't think that's going to wash with a lot of Republican voters. President Trump won that state by 19 points. If you look at Jon Tester, I do think that's a little bit different in Montana, where you have Tester very close to the agriculture community, and they think he's done a good job for them. So he's tried to localize that race as much as possible. Not that Trump hasn't done all he can to help Rosendale, and that the Republicans still could win there. That one's a nail biter. Donnelly, though, he's one of the only ones that can say he has voted with President Trump, and he did so on immigration. So this last bit of President Trump closing's argument on immigration might not play as much in Indiana because Donnelly actually has a voting record that says that. The other thing, in each of these 3 states, President Trump's approval rating is above 50%. That's a big deal for him because if you think about, like in 2002, the first Bush midterm, I think President Bush's approval rating was sky high. We were in war. It was after 9/11. But in 2006, when he lost the majorities, his approval rating was 37%. It makes a big difference, especially in these tight races. So President Trump has done them a favor by getting his approval rating up to where it is.
Can we go to that chart?
I just want to say for the record that in the commercial break, Jesse Waters said my chart was very helpful.
By the way, just before we go, let me just say, though, what strikes me is that in these big states, these red states where Democrats are struggling, they're close races. And you would think that right now, since they're red states, that Republicans would dominate.
That's why you will want to tune in to get the Fox News voter analysis on Tuesday and find out more.
20% more charts.
All right. Is Michael Avenatti getting ready to take on Trump with a 2020 run? Oh, my goodness, could it be? See his new political ad next.
Michael Avenatti, again fueling speculation about his presidential ambitions. The anti-Trump lawyer urging people in his first political ad to get out and vote. Watch this.
We the people.
We the people.
We the people
are mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore.
We will not be silenced.
We will speak truth to power.
And we will fight.
If we do it together, we will win.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Our Constitution says we the people, not me the president. Stand up. Join the Fight Club. Use your vote as your voice on November 6th.
So, Greg, I thought the first rule of Fight Club was not to talk about that.
Oh, good point.
Good point.
I have to hand it to him. He actually chose actors and actresses that are as appealing as he is. Everybody's just scowling. By the way, this guy has more baggage than JFK, and I'm talking about the airport, Dana. Having said that, so did Donald Trump. He had baggage.
Yeah.
But the difference is, Avenatti is all baggage and no ticket. His resume is thinner than his hair, and but I encourage him to go because it'll be incredibly entertaining to see him up on the days with actual other candidates and see how that goes.
Juan, I think that Greg sounds a lot like the Democrats sounded whenever President Trump announced. Yes. What do you think?
Well, so I was thinking a lot of what Greg was saying, that, Donald Trump, what was his resume? What were his credentials? And then I read
come on, he's more qualified than Avenatti.
But let me finish my point. That I think So I was reading about this, and somebody said, in fact, Donald Trump is better known than Avenatti. That if you think about The Apprentice, all the years he was on TV, plus the fact that people associate Donald Trump with money, with wealth, that it gave him more of a standing in the public mind. Avenatti doesn't have that. But in terms of actual resume, I don't know. What do you think that Donald Trump is highly qualified to be president of the United States?
Well, we're not going to get into that. We're going to keep talking
Well,
about
he is president, but he's not qualified. That's the problem.
Well, okay. I'm not even going to get into it. So, Dana, tell me, when the Democrats clearly, I think, want someone who's going to pick a fight with Trump, take on a fight with him, but doesn't Avenatti go a little bit too far in the terms of, I don't think that mainstream voters or independent voters, they may want a fighter, but I don't think they want crazy.
The other difference between Avenatti and President Trump is that President Trump has a great sense of humor and an impeccable comedic timing. Because even Democrats will laugh. Like, even if they think it's absolutely ludicrous what he's saying, they will still laugh about it. No one has ever laughed at anything Avenatti has ever said. I think that Democrats right now are happy to let Avenatti be out front. Right? Let him be taking all the slings and arrows and be getting the C block on the 5 and be the one being made fun of, while they figure out, okay, out of the 35 of us who all want to run for president, how are we going to blaze a trail?
Jesse, what do you think, I mean, if he did get the nomination, what do you think, like, the mainstream news media anchors, I mean, can you just, like, envision that debate? I'm sort of itching for the two of them to be the final two, because I think it would be the craziest final two candidates, like, ever.
Well, it won't happen, but he is going to be a player at the debates for the Democrats, and it's going to be fun to watch him throw bombs and have the audience clap and have the other kind of mainstream establishment Democratic candidates kind of sit there and wish they could appeal to the base. I disagree with Greg a little bit here. I think this was an effective ad. He has tapped into the rageaholic resistors in the Democratic Party. These didn't look like actors. These look like really angry people. And there's a good section of the Democratic base that really want to humiliate Donald Trump, want to bully him, want to sue him, want to go after his wife and kids, and just punish him. And this is the people that he is speaking to. Now, I think he's playing a dangerous Ponzi scheme politically because he owes tons of money to everybody. He's getting sued out the pants, and he's trying to parlay this into a presidential bet, and eventually it's all going to implode, and he'll probably have to declare bankruptcy.
Well, that sounds like Trump again, getting sued by everybody, declaring bankruptcy.
At least Trump's president.
But Juan, did he take himself out, though, by saying that it has to be a white male that wins? I mean, isn't that pretty offensive?
That's crazy. It's not offensive. I mean, if that's what he thinks.
If Trump said it would have been offensive, but not him.
Are you kidding? Trump engages in divisive racial rhetoric every day. That's a difference.
That sounds like someone I know.
I think what Avenatti is doing, and I just think it's so important to just make a note of it, is he's tapping into what Jesse said, which is the desire on the part of Democrats to have a fighter stand up to Trump and small donors. Right now, in this midterm, small donors have turned out to be a gold mine for Democrats.
I bet one,
and Avenatti is tapping into
I bet he takes that small donation money, and I bet he pays off his own debts. Watch him.
And forgets about Stormy. Whatever happened to Stormy? He used her.
You miss her, don't you?
Aside.
You miss her.
He's single, ladies, so if you're looking to be the first lady, there you go. Can I do the tease?
Yes.
Hey, back.
Up next, Baldwin goes ballistic again. The anti-Trump actor arrested after allegedly brawling in the streets of New York. That and more in the Fastest 7 up next.
There's a reason why we're playing Christmas music. It's the first up on the Fastest 7. A British psychologist warns that listening to too many jolly tunes during the holidays may take a toll on your mental health, leading to annoyance or extra stress. I'm going to go to our Christmas expert, Greg Gutfeld, with the first question. What do you think?
Well, there is some truth to this. Christmas music is so bad that if there was no such thing as Christmas, no one would play this music again.
Aww.
Right? You need to. You have to have the world's greatest birthday party in order to get to keep the music alive. But having said this, this is all bogus, shoddy research. There's no study to back this up. It's just some lady talking about it. I looked it up. I couldn't find anything on this.
This is my favorite part of today. Greg Gutfeld would not click on my chart about the midterms, but he actually read this study and found out that it was bunk.
There's no studies. They referred to this other stuff about stress, and it was just, thank you. That's the chart.
The chart again. Greg calls the study fake news. What do you think, Juan?
Well, actually, so I read the article, and what it said was that people who have this stuff pumped into their head again and again just become anxious. You think, oh, I got to go buy gifts. Oh, I got to fix a dinner. Oh, the relatives. I'm going to have to deal with the relatives. But the thing is, it's the repetition, Jesse, that if you are working, if you're a worker, a clerk in a store, and they keep playing this stuff, you can't escape it. It makes you nuts.
It's like Fox News in the elevator. We have Fox News in the elevator where we work. And so you can't escape. You can't escape anybody. They're in there with you.
Can the bosses note who said that?
Yeah, a better analogy would have been CNN at the airport.
That too.
Okay, go ahead, Morgan.
So it was a British woman who did this study, and I think this is why we had a revolution.
It's not a study, Morgan.
This is why we had a revolution, because Christmas is awesome, and you were green for the Grinch tonight.
Yes, I am.
Greg,
All right.
I love Christmas.
Tonight?
Up next, remember this incident from nearly 5 years ago?
You want to apologize to on camera? I asked you a question. You want to apologize to I asked you a question. Okay, you get the out of here.
Whoa. Well, bad boy Alec Baldwin is in trouble with the law again. The Hollywood hothead arrested and charged in New York City for allegedly punching a man in the face after an argument over a parking space. Will anybody defend this?
Yes, I will.
You will.
Go.
Oh,
Greg and I agree.
Yes, we agree.
Alec Baldwin brought you guys together. Imagine that.
Greg, let's tag team this.
Okay,
Well, from what I understand, he was parallel parking. Some guy comes right in behind him to take the space. That is totally crazy. And I don't even think it was an illegal immigrant.
No, you know what? You know why this upsets you? Because you don't like people who cut in line. You like process. You like order.
Well,
you like enforcement.
I do. But I tell you what,
Build the wall, Juan.
This was so crazy because I've been in that situation
I have too.
where you're parallel parking and they know they just decide screw you.
Yeah, because they don't think you're going to fight back.
Well, you've never had this problem because you don't drive, right, Dana?
Well, not in New York. I've never driven in New York. I did think my favorite part of the day was when President Trump's out front of Marine One. He can barely hear anything because the reporters are shouting questions, and somebody says, Alec Baldwin was just arrested. He's like, who? Alec Baldwin, for what? In New York, for punching somebody. And he said, I wish him the best of luck. That's very nice.
But the possibility is that he didn't hear who it was. I wish him the best of luck. It was like, it could have been.
I don't know.
I'm surprised the media
Where do you park your big wheel?
In my tiny closet.
Yeah, look who's talking. Morgan, what do you think? I'm surprised the media didn't blame Donald Trump for inciting this kind of violence.
I want to take this opportunity to complain about bikers in New York.
Okay.
Because I don't even care about people parallel parking. I don't drive either. I hate driving. But bikers in New York are the worst. They're the ones who don't pay attention. So if you're going to punch anyone, punch a biker.
Don't say that. They're going to come after
We
you.
condemn violence on the 5.
Do not punch
bikers. She meant figuratively.
Punch a biker figuratively.
Okay. And finally, is a hot dog a sandwich? With National Sandwich Day coming up, Oscar Mayer reignited the food fight on Twitter, proclaiming that a hot dog is in fact a sandwich, and boldly urging those who disagreed to leave them angry messages on a hotline. I don't know, guys. Technically it's bread with meat in the middle, but I would not consider a hot dog a sandwich.
Why would you want to dilute your marketing advantage by being unique? Like, don't be a sandwich, just be a hot dog.
This is exactly the message that the Democrats should be running on, because this could unite a country beyond politics. A hot dog's a hot dog. If a hot dog is a sandwich, then a corn dog is a lollipop, because they're confusing structure with substance, which happens a lot.
I'm taking the opposite position. I think it's a sandwich, and I also think a taco's a sandwich.
Really?
What?
Yes.
A taco's a taco.
Whoa.
It's carbs. It's all the same. You can eat it with your hands.
I think that's cultural appropriation. A taco is a taco.
Yes, and I know a lot about that. The Mexican people will be very upset by that. They like the taco, and they don't want it to be associated with North American traditions.
Did you interview people about this today?
Yes, I've been out in the streets all day about this.
A British psychologist did a study.
Right. Do we have a chart on hot dogs, Dan? Do you have anything
I can get you one by tomorrow at 7 a.m.
All right. I will definitely. There it is. There it is. The yellow is the mustard.
You're being hazed by the producers.
All right. But you know what I think about this?
What's that, Juan?
This is an advertising scheme. That's all it is.
Yes. Yeah, and you know what? And now we're eating a hot dog for work. I love this segment. Stay right there. Fan Mail Friday with Greg up next.
massage music for a friction-free Friday, as I like to call it.
Disgusting.
Tina, fan mail, Friday. It wasn't that. It was about how we weren't fighting on Friday.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Debbie O. This is a great question from Facebook. If we were all forced to wear a warning label, what would yours say?
Do not consume while operating heavy machinery.
That would be yours?
That would be mine.
Oh, very good.
Who was going to consume you?
I don't know. View me, watch me, whatever you call it.
What about you, Juan?
I guess he's on TV arguing every day, so leave him alone.
Leave him alone. Warning, do not approach when quiet.
Yeah, oh my God.
I don't
Morgan?
know. Like hot to the touch.
Ooh, look at you.
Ortega.
You're like the stove.
Something like that.
Something like that. Tana?
I would say do not eat with your mouth open around her.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting
Yeah.
warning.
Are you saying that because I was eating the hot dog?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't
it was
notice.
disgusting, Morgan. Mine would be choking hazard, because I'm small.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. Anyway, Greg K, nice name. If you had to assign each other to a brand of something to be the face of, what would each of yours be? That's kind of a complicated question.
Yeah.
So we have to pick somebody else and say they would be the face for blank.
Okay.
Oh.
Like I would
That
say
is not easy.
Jesse would be the face of Hawaii because his hair is like a big tidal wave.
Oh, thank you very much.
I think that's a compliment.
Thank you very much.
I hope so.
You're like old McGarrett.
I don't know who that is.
The original McGarrett from
Who's
Hawaii
McGarrett?
Five-0.
Oh,
Jeez,
got it.
Louise.
That was before my time.
Jack Lord, everybody.
I have
Dana?
one.
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
well, go,
I
Meg.
was gonna say, so I worked at Estee Lauder in college.
Oh,
in the makeup
very
center.
nice.
You would be a great, Dana, you'd be great face of Estee Lauder.
Oh my God, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Now you have to do the same thing to her. She's gonna be
I
pissed.
think that I would put, you know what I would do, because I think this is important and what she does is impressive. Why don't you make her the face of recruiting for the Navy
I
for
like
women
that.
across the country?
Oh,
Go
well
Navy.
done. Very,
Yeah.
very good. You could probably create a chart for her. Juan?
I like Roger Starbuck better than you for the Navy.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Let's see. So let me see. So let's see. My friends around here at this table are nutty. So maybe like peanut butter. You guys could be the face of Skippy.
Well, I would make you the face of the resistance, Juan.
Gladly.
You're out of control.
All right.
You're going to make Greg the face of something?
I could be the face of troubled geniuses. I don't know what that is.
Or Tums?
Or Tums. But you know what? This question is about me.
Oh, okay.
Here, you want to read it?
Sure.
Tina
The
R.
question from Tina R. is, my teenage daughter wants to be the next Greg Gutfeld. What advice would you give? Well,
I think you have to answer that.
How about snarky and cynical? You practice.
I think that you have to learn a lot about language. You got to love the English language and words, and you got to learn how to write, and you have to read a lot, and you have to be willing to, play with words a little bit.
I was hoping the answers would be more insulting, Jesse.
Yes. I would drink a bottle of wine every night. I would wake
She's
up
teenager.
very cranky, and I would yell at the producers all day long.
Exactly.
You're right on track.
Exactly. That's 90% of the job,
In all caps,
Morgan.
emails.
What do you say?
I have no idea how to answer this one. Don't be like Greg. Be you.
Oh, very nicely done.
Juan?
Well, I said you got to practice snarky.
Right.
You got
I would
to
say
get attitude.
you want to be. If my teenage daughter wants to be the next Greg Gutfeld, you got to go with the hormone treatments.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, literally.
How much time I got? This is it. This is a. All right. This is from M. Lapin 1. What's the strangest family tradition in your family? A little redundant there, M. Lapin 1. You could have just said, "What's the strangest family tradition?" That was a really stupid
But he's
mistake.
like in your family, so he wants you to be very specific.
Oh, well, we kind of understood that, Dana. What is these? You have a lot of weird family traditions.
I don't.
Oh,
I
no,
can't
no,
think
no.
of a single
You grew up on
family
a
tradition.
farm.
Yeah.
But that's not a tradition. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
but
think
there are certain things you do in a farm that a lot of people don't know. Secret things.
like milking cows and things like that. Eating, breaking ice. No, I can't think of a single family tradition. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm sure there are some. But that's strange.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any.
All
Sorry.
So when we were driving in car trips as a young kid, we would drive underneath. If the train was going over us when we were doing the underpass, everybody would take their hands and put the hands on the top of the ceiling of the car in case the train crashed through and killed our car.
Yeah, everybody did that.
Did you guys do that too?
Yeah. No.
You stole my
That's
tradition.
I never had. We never had that tradition.
Yeah, I
We
wouldn't
never
want to
went
drive
anywhere.
with you anywhere for a long car ride.
Wait till we take our bus trip this summer.
Strange family
So,
tradition.
you know, I mean, obviously things like on New Year's Day, when my original family, the one I was born into, they would do like black-eyed peas and oranges and things like that. But lately, so my new nuclear family, we do a thing when we're going on vacation, we all dress in the same sweatsuit. Identical.
That's very strange.
You have to show a picture of that.
That is
one
strange.
time. We ought to see that.
That is strange, Morgan.
I don't know that we have anything. We do have a tradition growing up that my father liked to make grits and eggs and biscuits. We're from the South, and so we'd eat it at dinner though, not for breakfast. We'd have breakfast for dinner.
Oh, I love
That's always fun.
Breakfast for dinner.
We only got breakfast for dinner if my dad was traveling on business because he hated breakfast for dinner.
We only had breakfast for dinner when Mom and Dad were drunk. They'd be like, you know what? Why don't you guys have some breakfast? There's some cereal.
What time
That'll
is
be
it?
it.
I
All
can't
right,
believe
Pete.
that.
All right, one more thing is up next.
Hi, Mom.
Massage music for a friction-free Friday, as I like to call it.
Disgusting.
Fan mail, Friday. It wasn't that. It was about how we weren't fighting on Friday.
Okay.
Okay, this is from Debbie O. This is a great question from Facebook. If we were all forced to wear a warning label, what would yours say?
Do not consume while operating heavy machinery.
That would be yours?
That would be mine.
Oh, very good.
Who was going to consume you?
I don't know. View me, watch me, whatever you call it.
What about you, Juan?
I guess he's on TV arguing every day, so leave him alone.
Leave him alone. Warning, do not approach when quiet.
Yeah, oh my God.
I don't
Morgan?
know. Like hot to the touch.
Ooh, look at you.
Ortega.
You're like the stove.
Something like that.
Something like that. Tana?
I would say do not eat with your mouth open around her.
Oh, wow, that's an interesting
Yeah.
warning.
Are you saying that because I was eating the hot dog? In
No,
the
I
break?
didn't
That was
notice.
disgusting, Morgan. Mine would be choking hazard, because I'm small.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Let's
Anyway, Greg K, nice name. If you had to assign each other to a brand of something to be the face of, what would each of yours be? That's kind of a complicated question.
Yeah.
So we have to pick somebody else and say they would be the face for blank.
Okay.
Oh.
Like I would
That
say
is not easy.
Jesse would be the face of Hawaii because his hair is like a big tidal wave.
Oh, thank you very
Yes.
much.
I think that's a compliment.
Thank you very much.
I hope so.
You're like old McGarrett.
I don't know who that is.
The original McGarrett from
Who's
Hawaii
McGarrett?
Five-0.
Oh,
Jeez,
got it.
Louise.
That was before my time.
Jack Lord, everybody.
I
Dana?
have one.
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
well, go,
I
Meg.
was gonna say, so I worked at Estee Lauder in college.
Oh,
And
must
very
be
good.
nice.
You would be a great, Dana, you'd be great face of Estee Lauder.
Oh my God, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Now you have to do the same thing to her. She's gonna be
I
pissed.
think that I would put, you know what I would do, because I think this is important and what she does is impressive. Why don't you make her the face of recruiting for the Navy
I
for
like
women
that.
across the country?
Oh,
Go
well
Navy.
done. Very,
Yeah.
very good. You could probably create a chart for her. Juan?
I like Roger Starbuck better than you for the Navy.
Yeah, well, thanks.
Let's see. So let me see. So let's see. My friends around here at this table are nutty. So maybe like peanut butter. You guys could be the face of Skippy.
Well, I would make you the face of the resistance, Juan.
Gladly.
You're out of control.
All right.
You're going to make Greg the face of something?
I could be the face of troubled geniuses. I don't know what that is.
Or Tums?
Or Tums. But you know what? This question is about me.
Oh, okay.
Here, you want to read it?
Sure.
Tina
The
R.
question from Tina R. is, my teenage daughter wants to be the next Greg Gutfeld. What advice would you give? Well,
I think you have to answer that.
How about snarky and cynical? Practice.
I think that you have to learn a lot about language. You got to love the English language and words, and you got to learn how to write, and you have to read a lot, and you have to be willing to, play with words a little bit.
I was hoping the answers would be more insulting, Jesse.
Yes. I would drink a bottle of wine every night. I would wake
She's
up
teenager.
very cranky, and I would yell at the producers all day long.
Exactly.
You're right on track.
Exactly. That's 90% of the job,
all caps
Morgan.
emails.
What do you say?
I have no idea how to answer this one. Don't be like Greg. Be you.
Oh, very nicely
Juan?
done.
Well, I said you got to practice snarky. You got to.
I would say
attitude.
you want to be. If my teenage daughter wants to be the next Greg Gutfeld, you got to go with the hormone treatments.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, literally.
How much time I got? This is All right, this is from M. Lapin1. What's the strangest family tradition in your family? A little redundant there, M. Lapin1. You could have just said, what's the strangest family tradition? That was a really stupid
But he's
mistake.
like in your family, so he wants you to be very specific.
Oh, well, we kind of understood that, Dana. What is these? You have a lot of weird family traditions.
I don't. I can't think of a single
You grew up on a
family
farm.
Yeah.
But that's not a tradition. I mean, I
Yeah,
can't
but
think
there are certain things you do in a farm that a lot of people don't know. Secret things.
like milking cows and things like that. Eating, breaking ice. No, I can't think of a single family tradition. Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm sure there are some. But that's strange.
Yeah.
No, I don't have any.
All
Sorry.
right.
Sorry.
So when we were driving in car trips as a young kid, we would drive underneath. If the train was going over us when we were doing the underpass, everybody would take their hands and put the hands on the top of the ceiling of the car in case the train crashed through and killed our car.
Yeah, everybody did that.
Did you guys do that too?
Yeah. No.
You stole my tradition.
I never had. We never had that tradition.
Yeah, I
We
wouldn't
never
want to
went
drive
anywhere.
with you anywhere for a long car ride.
Wait till we take our bus trip this summer.
I mean, obviously things like on New Year's Day when my original family, the one I was born into, they would do like black-eyed peas and oranges and things like that. But lately, so my new